Welcome back to the Everyday English Podcast. This is the place where we take real life, real conversations, and the real problems you face in English, and we break them down so you can live your life confidently in a second language. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Mark. It is great to be back in the studio with you, Sarah. Today we have an episode that I think is going to be a game changer for a lot of our listeners, especially the ones who use English at work.
Absolutely, Mark. You know, we get messages all the time from listeners who say, Sarah, I know the grammar, I know the vocabulary, I can watch a movie and understand everything, but when I walk into my office or when I join that Zoom call, I feel like a child.
That is such a common feeling. You have these brilliant ideas in your head. You are an expert in your field. Maybe you are an engineer or a marketing manager, but when you open your mouth, the words that come out feel simple. They feel basic.
Exactly. And it is frustrating because your intelligence is high, but your English level makes you sound junior. And today we are going to fix that. We are going to look at 3 verbs that are ruining your professional image.
Just 3 verbs?
Just 3, but they are the 3 most common verbs in the English language: do, make, and say.
Ah, the big 3. I did the report. I made a plan. He said yes.
Right. And there is nothing grammatically wrong with those sentences. They are correct, but they are boring. And more importantly, Mark, they don't carry any power. If you want to sound like a leader, you need to stop using student verbs and start using CEO verbs.
CEO verbs? I like that. So we are going to upgrade our vocabulary today.
We are. We are going to take those 3 weak verbs, do, make, and say, and we are going to give you 9 high-impact alternatives. These are what we call power verbs. By the end of this hour, you will be able to talk about your work with precision and authority.
And as always, since this is the Everyday English Podcast, we aren't just going to give you a list. We are going to practice. We will have role plays, we will check your pronunciation, and we will give you chances to shadow us. So if you are driving to work right now or maybe doing the dishes, get ready to speak out loud.
Before we dive in, if you want to make sure you never miss a lesson that can boost your career, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We are building a library of these deep dive episodes, and hitting that subscribe button is the best way to make sure you get your daily English practice.
All right, Sarah, let's start with the first offender, the verb do.
Do, D-O. It is the workhorse of the English language. We use it for everything. I did the laundry, I did my homework, I did the project.
The problem is, when you are in a business meeting, I did the project sounds very flat. It tells me you completed an action, but it doesn't tell me how you did it or what level of responsibility you had.
Exactly. Do is neutral. Leaders are not neutral. So let's look at our first power verb alternative for do. If you want to sound precise and effective, stop saying I did the task. Start saying I executed the task.
Executed.
That is a strong word. It sounds military almost. It does. To execute means to carry out a plan completely and successfully. It implies that there was a process and you followed it through to the end. So instead of saying I did the marketing campaign, you would say I executed the marketing campaign. Yes. Can you hear the difference? I did it sounds like you ticked a box. I executed it sounds like you drove results. Let's try a little pronunciation on that one because there's a tricky sound in the middle. Execute. It has that K and S sound mixed together. Right. Listen closely, listeners. Execute. The stress is on the first syllable. Execute. Mark, why don't you give us a sentence context? Sure. Imagine your boss asks if the software update is finished. You could say, yes, I did it this morning. Or you could say, yes, we executed the update this morning without any errors. That second version gives me so much more confidence in you. Okay, let's try our second alternative for do. This one is for the managers out there, or the people who want to be managers. Often we say, I did this project, when really we managed the people who did the project.
Right. If you are leading a team, you shouldn't say, I did the project, because that sounds like you were doing the typing and the filing. You want to show you were in charge.
So the power verb here is oversee.
Oversee. To see over something.
Literally, yes. It means to watch and direct the work of other people, to make sure it is done correctly. It is the perfect verb for management.
So I shouldn't say I did the budget implementation. I should say I oversaw the budget implementation.
Perfect. It tells everyone I am responsible for this, but I am operating at a high level.
Be careful with the past tense on this one, right? Since see becomes saw, oversee becomes oversaw.
Good catch. I oversaw the project. Listeners, try that one. Repeat after me. I oversaw the launch.
I oversaw the launch.
One more time. I oversaw the team.
I oversaw the team. That feels good. It feels authoritative.
Okay, we have executed for completing tasks. We have oversaw for managing tasks. Now we need one more for the messy stuff.
The messy stuff?
You know, when there's a problem. A client is angry, a shipment is lost, a computer crashes. Usually people say, don't worry, I will do it, or I will do something about it.
Ah, I see. And I will do it sounds a bit vague. It doesn't reassure me that you are actually going to fix the problem.
Right. So the power verb here is handle.
Handle. Handle.
To handle something means to manage a situation or a problem effectively. It implies competence. It implies, I've got this. You don't need to worry.
I love this word. It's one of my favorites in business English. If a client is screaming on the phone and my colleague is panicking, I can just step in and say, Mark, I'll handle it.
And instantly, the stress level in the room goes down. Compare that to, Mark, I'll do it. Do it could mean anything. Handle it means I will resolve the issue.
So let's review our do replacements. Instead of doing a task, we execute. Instead of doing a management job, we oversee. And instead of doing something about a problem, we handle it.
Let's do a quick shadow practice. Mark, give me the junior sentence, and I will give the CEO sentence. Listeners, I want you to repeat the CEO sentence after me.
Okay, here is the junior version. I did the sales plan last week.
I executed the sales plan last week. Your turn.
I executed the sales plan last week. Nice. Here is the next one. I did the training for the new interns.
I oversaw the training for the new interns. Repeat.
I oversaw the training. Okay, last one. There was a complaint, so I did something about it.
There was a complaint, so I handled it. Your turn.
I handled it. Sarah, I already feel more professional.
We are just getting started. We have conquered do. Now we have to look at its cousin, make.
Make. I make a cake. I make a mess. I make a plan.
Make is a creative verb. It's about creating something that didn't exist before. But again, in a business context, it sounds a little bit like arts and crafts. It sounds a little soft.
If I say I made a strategy, it sounds like I just threw it together in 5 minutes.
Exactly. We want verbs that show intelligence, data, and permanence. So let's look at our first replacement for make. This is specifically for when you are creating plans, strategies, or methods. Stop saying make. Start saying devise.
Devise. Devise.
That sounds clever. It is. To devise means to plan or invent something with careful thought. It implies you used your brain. You didn't just make it, you engineered it. So we devised a new marketing strategy. Yes, or we devised a way to cut costs. It sounds smart. It sounds like you sat down, analyzed the data, and came up with a solution.
What about the pronunciation? It has a z sound at the end, right?
It does. Devise. It rhymes with surprise.
Okay, so we don't make plans, we devise them. What about when we are talking about results, like money or sales or new leads?
Commonly, people say, we made a lot of sales this month, or the ad campaign made new leads.
That is very conversational. We made sales. It's fine, but it's not impressive.
The power verb here is generate.
Generate, like a generator.
Exactly like a generator. A generator produces power. In business, to generate means to produce or create something, usually intangible things like profit, interest, or excitement.
So the new product generated a lot of interest.
Perfect. Or our goal is to generate 500 new leads. It sounds active. It sounds like you are the engine driving the business forward.
Make sounds passive. Generate sounds active. We made $10,000 versus we generated $10,000 in revenue.
The second one belongs in a board meeting. The first one belongs in a chat with a friend.
Okay, I like generate. What is our third alternative for make?
This one is for when you are setting up something permanent, like a rule, a system, or a partnership. You might say, we made a new rule regarding overtime.
Or we made a partnership with that supplier.
The word you want here is establish.
Establish. That sounds solid, like a building.
That is the feeling. To establish means to set up something on a firm and permanent basis. If you make a rule, maybe you change it tomorrow. If you establish a rule, it is written in stone. It is official.
So we established a new protocol for safety.
We established a long-term relationship with the client.
It adds weight to what you have created.
I want to pause on the grammar for these make verbs for a second, Sarah, because make is an irregular verb. Make becomes made. But these new verbs, devise, generate, establish, they are all regular. That is a great point, Mark. And regular verbs in the past tense can be tricky for pronunciation because of that ed ending.
Right. Let's look at devised. We don't say devised.
No, because devise ends in a voiced sound, that Z sound. The ed sounds like a D. Devised. Smooth connection. We devised a plan.
What about generate? That ends in a T sound.
When a verb ends in a T or a D, we pronounce the extra syllable. So generate becomes generated. It sounds like id at the end. Generated.
We generated revenue.
Perfect. And finally, establish. It ends with that sh sound. So the ed sounds like a T. Established.
Established. It's almost like you are spitting the end out. Established.
Exactly. Listeners, let's practice those past tenses quickly. I will say the present, you say the past. Devise.
Devised.
Generate.
Generated.
Establish.
Established.
Excellent work. You are building muscle memory. Now, we have one final category to tackle. We have done execution, we have done strategy. Now we need to talk about communication, the verb say.
He said, she said, I said. This is probably the verb I hear repeated the most in stories. I went to my boss and I said I need a holiday, and he said okay, but he said I have to finish the report first.
And it sounds like a repetitive drumbeat. Said, said, said. It's monotonous. In business, communication is nuanced. We need verbs that describe how we said something.
So what is our first alternative?
For small details, or when you briefly talk about something, stop using said. Use mention.
Mention. I mentioned it to him.
Right. To mention means to refer to something briefly and without going into detail. It's very useful for softening a message.
Can you give me an example of that?
Sure. Imagine you are in a meeting and you want to bring up a small issue, but you don't want to make a big scene. You could say, I said there is a bug in the system. That sounds a bit direct.
Yeah, it sounds like an accusation.
But if you say, I mentioned the bug to the engineering team, it sounds lighter. It sounds like I told them, it's not a big deal, we are moving on.
So mention is a great tool for being polite or casual. Oh, by the way, I mentioned your idea to the boss.
Exactly. Now, what if you want to do the opposite? What if you want to really draw attention to something important? You don't want to just say it, you want to highlight it.
Highlight, like the yellow marker pen.
Yes, to highlight means to draw special attention to something. In a presentation, you don't just say the sales figures are up, you highlight the growth in Q4.
I would like to highlight the success of the new team. That sounds powerful. It tells the audience, look here, this is important.
It directs focus. Leaders direct focus. If you just say things, people might miss them. If you highlight them, people listen.
Okay, so mention is for small things, highlight is for important things. What is our third one?
The third one is for delivering a message, often from someone else, or making sure an idea gets from point A to point B clearly. The verb is convey.
Convey. C-O-N-V-E-Y.
To convey means to transport or carry to a place. In communication, it means to make an idea or feeling known or understandable to someone.
This is a very professional word. I hear this a lot in formal emails. Please convey my apologies.
Yes, please convey my thanks to the team. It's much more professional than tell the team thanks for me.
It's also good for explaining complex ideas. I try to convey the urgency of the situation.
Right. If you say, I said it was urgent, it's okay. But I tried to convey the urgency means you really tried to make them feel and understand the pressure. It's about the transfer of meaning, not just words.
So let's recap the say replacements. We have mention for brief comments, highlight for emphasis, and convey for transferring meaning or formal messages.
Mark, I think our listeners are ready for the ultimate test. We have covered 9 power verbs. Now we need to put them together.
I love a challenge. What do you have in mind?
I am going to read a paragraph about a work project. I'm going to use the old boring verbs, do, make, and say. It's going to sound okay, but uninspired.
And then we are going to rewrite it together using our new vocabulary?
Exactly. Listeners, listen to this first version. Imagine I am sitting in an interview telling you about my last job. Here goes. In my last job, I made a plan to get new clients. I did the research myself. I said to my team that we needed to work hard. In the end, we made a lot of new sales, and I did the final report for the CEO.
Okay. I mean, I understand what you did, but would I hire you? Maybe not. You sound like a standard employee.
It's very average. Now, let's upgrade it. Mark, help me out here. Instead of I made a plan, what should I say?
I devised a plan.
I devised a strategy to acquire new clients. Instead of I did the research,
You executed the research. Or maybe you conducted it. But let's stick to our list. I executed the research phase.
good. Instead of I said to my team we needed to work hard,
That's a main point you want them to know. So I highlighted the need for dedication to the team.
nice. I highlighted our goals. And instead of we made a lot of new sales,
We generated significant sales.
and finally, instead of I did the final report,
You executed it? Or maybe you conveyed the results?
I like that. I conveyed the final results to the CEO. Let's listen to the whole thing now. In my last job, I devised a strategy to acquire new clients. I executed the research phase myself. I highlighted our ambitious goals to the team. In the end, we generated significant sales, and I conveyed the final results to the CEO.
Wow, that is a completely different person. That person sounds expensive. That person sounds like they deserve a promotion.
And that is the power of vocabulary. You didn't change the work you did, you changed how you described it.
This is really the secret to business English. It's not about using long, complicated words that no one understands. It's about using precise words that show action and ownership.
Precise is the key word. Do is vague. Execute is precise. Make is vague. Devise is precise. When you are precise, people trust you.
So, Sarah, for the listeners who are listening to this and thinking, okay, I have these 9 words, but how do I actually remember to use them? What should they do?
That is the hard part, right? Breaking the habit, because do and make are habits. My advice is to pick just one category for this week. Maybe this week is execution week. I like that. So for the next 5 days, focus only on replacing do. Put a sticky note on your monitor that says execute handle. Yes, every time you write an email, scan it before you click send. Did you write I will do it? Delete it. Write I will handle it. Catch yourself in the act.
And then next week, move on to make and strategy.
Exactly. Don't try to change your entire vocabulary in 1 hour, but start noticing. When you are in a meeting, listen to your boss. Listen to the senior leaders. I guarantee you they are not saying I did and I made all the time. They are definitely generating, establishing, and conveying. So listen to them and then shadow them. Copy their language. That is how you learned do and make when you were a beginner, and that is how you will learn these new words now. And if you want a really easy way to practice, here is a little homework assignment for everyone listening. Oh, I love homework. What is it? I want you to think about what you did yesterday at work. Just 3 things. Write them down in simple English first. I made a meeting. I did a report. I said hello to a client. Okay, simple. Then cross out the verbs and rewrite those 3 sentences using today's power verbs. I established a meeting time. I executed the report. I mentioned the new product to the client. That is a fantastic exercise. And do you know what? If you are feeling brave, put those sentences in the comment section if you are watching this on YouTube. We would love to see your transformations.
Yes, show us your CEO sentences.
We have covered a lot of ground today. We moved from the student mindset to the leader mindset. We learned execute, oversee, handle. We learned devise, generate, establish. And we learned mention, highlight, convey.
These are tools. They are weapons in your professional arsenal. Use them wisely and watch how people begin to treat you differently.
It really does change the dynamic. When you respect your own work enough to describe it well, others respect it too.
Well said.
Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into business English vocabulary. We hope you feel a little taller, a little more confident, and ready to walk into your next meeting with power.
Don't forget to subscribe to Everyday English Podcast if you haven't already. We have some great episodes coming up on how to handle disagreements, how to make small talk, and how to master your email writing. You don't want to miss those.
Until next time, keep practicing, keep listening, and remember, don't just do it, execute it.
See you next time.